because our bodies are that, the right. What's the opposite of the right? The left. What's the opposite of up? Down, right? See, I'm not going further than I can go. That's why light contact is the point of that you should get to slowly, or you should depart from slowly, because that's the perfect way to trace your body. You will find these points of alignment. You will find these nooks. And all you need is one. Everything else can be natural. Everything else can move. More stability enables more feeling. It enables there to be a greater diversity of stimulation. That's light and healthy and sensory activating in a regenerative fashion. The uThrones are just a step up from the air. That's why I argue that this is the most fundamental invention for human society. Tell me, what's more innate? What is more essential to the human experience than the activation of these primal aspects to our primal animal self? We have all the culture. Every adult has absorbed the culture. It's unavoidable. Now, what type of culture has formed your sensibilities? Everybody's sensibilities put them in echo chambers. Unless you appreciate the world of knowledge, the libraries of infinite knowledge that exist in the world. I love libraries and I love librarians. I'm dating a librarian right now. She's so thoughtful. She's so committed. She's so devoted. She's devoted to me and her job. She's committed to me and her job, which is the world. She doesn't care who you are. She doesn't care what you look like. She is prepared to override the superficial divisions. Just like the uThrones are aimed at everyone who has a body, has an experience with posture, has an experience with gravity. And that experience should be recognized and respected. And why? Because they're human. They're human and they're pursuing greater truth. They're researching something. They're trying to be more perfect. The more knowledge, the more wisdom you attain, the more perfect your mind is. Now that changes. We know that our minds accrue plaques. We know that we become more forgetful as time goes by. We lose energy. We lose desire. But this system of meditation, this system of reflection, this system of breathing, this system of composition, this composition this explanation, this act of performance, this act of communication is becoming more perfect with the repetitions of its practice. The amount of time devoted to the articulation of these ideas and these beliefs and these senses. Gently, forcefully within those gently discovered parameters. Force down, and then up. Everyone needs to beat on their chest. Everyone needs to do that. Everyone needs to vary the activation of the tissue, of the musculature, after it's warmed up, after it's been awakened in this gentle way. Then, see, there's something that's always maintaining connection, which means it's always absorbing some of the force of gravity. Every time you go up on your knee, or every time you lift your knee, that's the opportunity to move and to flex your toes, which means you're flexing everything in your tibia. Or try to make a fist from that position. Try to close your toes with your plantar muscle, and then try to do the opposite with the other leg. Or try to do the same thing, but on the opposite side. Now, what are you doing with your arms? I'm trying to release my intercostal muscles so that my lungs can expand to their maximal size, to their maximal points. See that? It follows that natural geometric curve. And wherever it lands is wherever it lands. That is your dimension. Let me find out how far away that point is from my hip bone. Well, and that's the thing. Now, once you start to measure, you have to determine, where is the center point to which you're measuring on your hand. The origin point on your leg is obvious because it's the exposed, or it's the prominent bone in that region. So here, there's my hip bone up here, my hip point, and I guess I'm going to the point of contact. That's what you do. That's what you do. You measure from the point of origin for the something nearby, and the contact point, which is for me right now the point of my pinky and my hand. What if you, I think, I'm trying to figure out if I should try to put the end above, or should it measure just to the skin on the inside? Anyways, okay, so to that point on my hip, from kind of the merger where you just push the skin down until the measuring tape becomes a point of force that's altering the position of that knuckle. Okay, or that body part that is the point of contact. All right, so from that point of contact to this point of contact with my hip bone is 10 and 10/16, 11, 12, 13, 14. No, it was just after. 3/4 would be 12. So this is 13/16. 10 and 13/16 on the right side. I'm going to hold it here. Notice how I'm not even looking at the measuring tape yet. Just like whenever I play guitar, at some point I close my eyes. At some point I try to align my body and I just try to hold the chord shape and feel it. Okay. Wow. So on this arm, on this leg, it says it's 11 1/4. No, excuse me, 1.25 foot. Can that be right? Well, I suppose my foot position would change that. Yeah, because that would change the hips slightly and would take the hip closer or further away. So there's another variable. There's another variable that you've got to control for. And so you can activate those kicking out, or you can activate those by coming in. The feet and the hands are parts of the body that we don't utilize for the creation of inertia, for the dissipation of it. Think about cowboys who would lasso. That's an extension of their self. This thing that is connected to them is going to control an animal or it's going to capture someone. That's a valuable skill. That makes you more valuable to the world. But think about it in terms of the connection. Think about it in terms of the gravitational method by